Hey y'all, I'm back. Don't make fun of my hair, cause talk about your mama before you talk about me. I'm just saying, I'm. That's the real reason why I'm in ducking and dodging. Y'all, I need to go get my hair done, but I know how this internet play. This internet play too much. Talk about people hair. You gonna have a couple of screens with my natural hair everywhere until I go get my hair done. But we eat Subway today. We got Subway today. Got some chips. About to get into these lucid dreams, dreaming stories. Okay, let's get into it. Get into it, y'all. So we're gonna start with the scary story part one. This is a part of her dream.
Tell me a story about a time that you know that you saw something, but you don't ever tell this story because you know that no one would.
Don't be so loud in there.
Okay, y'all. So a story that I could tell y'all where I seen something where people would not believe me is I was about 8 or 9. I was in the 3rd, 4th grade. I was in elementary school, and
I'm gonna pause her so I can unwrap this. So y'all, oh, you good? I can't hear. Get in here. Stay in here. Let me unwrap this first. I can't hear. I'm going on eating. I can't hear. I hate you. Y'all crashing out on people's stuff. But anyways, back to the story.
I had a best friend, and me and her had been friends a really long time. My family was cool with her family, and her older sister was really cool. Like, me and her was really cool, and she was in high school, so she I looked at her as a big sister, right? So something very tragic happened. She ended up, my best friend's sister ended up taking her life in high school, and oh man, I didn't realize how much this still affects me. Yeah, she ended up taking her life. And at this age, I understood death a little bit, but not really. Like, my mom didn't allow me and my brother to go to funerals at that age. I'm not sure if they really talked to us about death or whatever, but my mom ended up going to the funeral. Like, I remember her pulling up to this church, and then she made my grandma sit in the car with me and my brother. And then my mom came out crying. And I'm like, why is she crying? Whatever. So later that night, I go to sleep. And I fell asleep in the living room. And you know how you have like your regular couch, you got like the one couch where just one person can sit on it. I don't remember the name of it, but the one couch where one person can sit on it. And I woke up, and she was sitting in the chair the night of her funeral. She was sitting in the chair in her ROTC uniform, which I did not know she was buried in until I got, like, my mom ended up telling me, like, because I ended up describing to my mom again, like, this is what happened, this is what she had on. And it's crazy because my mom, when they were trying to figure out what to bury her in, my mom made the suggestion, like, bury her in her ROTC uniform. So I woke up, and she was sitting in front of me. Spirit form, she just was sitting there. She didn't say anything. She was just staring at me. Well, it's giving me the chills, y'all. She was sitting there staring at me, and I'm yelling and screaming for my mom, and she did not disappear. Like, she was still sitting there, and that freaked me out as a kid. But it's crazy because ever since then, I've had this gift of, I call it a gift. I'm very spiritual, and anytime somebody has passed away or is about to pass away, either when somebody passes away, they either come to me in spirit form or dream form, or I know when somebody's about to pass away based off a dream or something, or premonition or anything like that. I've had situations to where I knew something was about to happen and it happened. Like, I've had some crazy entities or spirit beings that I have seen that were not always good as well. So if y'all want any more of my scary stories, comment below and let me know.
Okay. Let's get into this. There's more story, like, please, it's definitely a gift. Sorry, y'all. Let me chill. Say, yes, more stories. I need more stories. I would have passed away when she did disappear after calling for your mom. Goosebumps. I broke in tears listening to this. So sorry for your loss. Yes, more. Please, you are gifted. I would love to hear more stories. I like that story.
Tell me a story about a time.
Let's go to the next one.
Tell me about the weirdest dream you've had that you don't actually think was a dream at all. I'll go first.
Like this, I know for sure was not a
I'm pausing for just a quick second. I see it's glitching.
dream. And this happened about 10 years ago. And honestly, I just started telling people this story because when I talked about it 10 years ago, people thought I was crazy. The reason why I'm comfortable telling it now is because there's a lot more people open to this sort of thing now. But anyways, I was in my bed asleep and I had to work in the morning, so I was knocked out. Next thing I remember is waking up, but my body's not up, and I hear this loud ringing in both my ears, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what this is. So I close my eyes tight because I'm like, this is sleep paralysis, and if I open my eyes, I'm going to see a sleep paralysis demon, and I did not want to see a sleep paralysis demon because I had never seen one. So I keep my eyes super duper tight. And so the next thing I remember is open my eyes, I get up, and I am up. I turn around.
Excuse me.
And I'm sleeping in the motherfucking bed. First and foremost. Yes. I'm sleeping in the bed. So I'm like, what is happening? Now my phone is on the floor next to my bed, charging. I grab my phone, and I'm like panicking, like, whoa. I gotta call my grandma, because how do I get back in my body? And so I remember grabbing my phone, I remember running down my stairs. Now how I know this was not a dream, because dreams are super weird. Like when you're in your bedroom, you might start out in your bedroom, you leave your room, you end up in like a cafeteria or a swimming pool or something like that. When I tell you that everything in my room, it was literally like I opened my eyes and that is my house. Nothing off. That was my house. To a T. There was nothing dreamlike about this. I remember running down the stairs, opening up my front door and sitting on the little stoop in front of my front door and thinking to myself, how am I going to figure out how I'm going to get back in my body? I'm really outside sitting there thinking how I'm going to get back inside of my body when I walk back up these stairs.
That's rude.
So I finally go back inside. I walk up the stairs, I go back in my room. Now I had a Scentsy wax melter that I had got from somebody I worked with. I ordered through Scentsy, and it illuminated my room, like not super bright, but it was bright enough to where it was a nice ambiance in the room. And an agent of mine had got me a Bible, and on my dresser next to the Scentsy melter was this Bible. And because of how illuminated the room was from the Scentsy melt, I see the Bible. And when I look at this Bible, I have an idea pop in my head. The idea that pops in my head tells me to lay down inside my body. So guess what? I lay down inside my body. And once I lay down inside my body, I wake the fuck up in real life. And I am shook to my core. I am so scared. I'm 100% sure that this was not a dream. And it was not a dream. Nobody could ever convince me that that was a dream. That was real life. To the point that I roll over, grab my phone, and go through my call logs to see if I did, in fact, call my grandmother. Now that I'm older and I've heard of astral projection, I realize that's what that was. 10 years ago, I did not know too much about it, and a lot of people were not open to the idea of that. So when I did tell people, they thought I was insane. But now, knowing what I know now, I know that I astral projected inside my house. And I haven't done that. I haven't astral projected since. To be honest, it was really scary, so I'm kind of glad I did not. But in that house, it wasn't haunted. It wasn't negative vibes. But I feel like I did have a spiritual awakening, because that was not the only thing super duper trippy that happened to me in that house. Like, majority of the trippy stuff that happened to me was in that house, in my first apartment. So I feel like I actually did have a spiritual awakening in that house. But yeah, that was not a dream.
Maybe it was.
That was real life.
Maybe it was. And what y'all think? Comment down below y'all thoughts so far. Did you call your grandma to see if you was on a phone call? Let's get in the comments. That was what I was wondering, but how would she be able to pick up the phone? Can you actually touch physical things? That's what I was wondering. I have been dreaming since I was 10 about a war in the middle of the rainstorm and kids getting saved. Astral projection is real. I only get sleep paralysis when I'm on my back. Sleep paralysis will have you astral projecting, astral traveling. So that's what I think happening. Her situation, that she just astral projected.
Y'all, so I feel like something weird low-key is happening to me, or if maybe I'm just like seeing correlation where there's no causation, or it might be the flip, I don't know. But like, so maybe like a week ago, I was talking to this guy, and he's in school right now in California. He's getting his doctorate in something to do with like crime or something like that. And he was telling me how, he's currently doing his dissertation or whatever, and how his dissertation is about basically like police brutality. And I ended up ghosting him after the first conversation because he made a joke about getting me pregnant. And like, that's not funny to me. Like, I take that so seriously. And he has 2 kids, so it's like, you're probably not joking, and I don't think that's funny. Like, that's a threat to me. But so last night I had a random dream. And in the dream, it was like a CIA guy, like, trying to get information from me or like about me. And then like I somehow got sick, and they did like a biopsy or some shit, and I had all these like stones in my kidneys. And like the first thing that I thought about when I woke up was that guy, because he had told me that like in his class is a lot of like FBI agents and CIA and police officers, and how his dissertation is like ruffling a lot of their feathers because he's basically talking about them. So I'm like that's weird. And it's not like I've been thinking about him. Like, it was a one and done conversation. The minute he said that, I was like, okay, but how about this morning he texted me good morning. And after the dream, I said to myself, I'm gonna keep an eye out for him to see what happens. And so then this man texted me good morning this morning. And so I'm like, what? And so then he asked me just now, what am I doing after work? And I'm like, that's a weird question to ask, because you only ask that for real, like if you're trying to take somebody out, you're in a whole nother state. And then I asked him why are you asking me that? And he said, I'm just trying to get a feel for you. Like, that's weird. So I'm like, okay, is the CIA watching me? And this is how I be jumping to conclusions for real. But like, that's so weird. Like, and it takes me a long time usually to piece dreams together, but this one is so weird. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm like, is the CIA or FBI watching me? Because in the dream it was CIA, I believe. Either they watching me or they watching him, and maybe I'm supposed to warn him, like, hey, you might want to watch your back. But it's just so weird, y'all. So I feel like something weird low-key is happening to me, or if maybe I'm...
Let's get into these comments. Mayonnaise and mustard fucking everywhere. Damn. Let's get into these comments, y'all. I keep getting mayonnaise and mustard on my... Don't talk about me. Don't you dare talk about me on this internet. Trust your gut. Trust your gut, my heart. My heart trusts your gut. It says, and why my Wi-Fi stopped working, why I tried to post this. You believe in God. Bible mentioned that. mentioned his people having very vivid dreams and the end times and that will come true. Trust your heart. Trust yourself, my heart.
Tell me about the weirdest dream you've had that you don't actually think was a dream at all.
Okay, so I have a weird story about this. So, my house from the time I was like 13 up until 19 had a lot of really weird, creepy stuff happening to it. Don't know why, I don't have an explanation for it. But when I was 15, I had this weird dream that I definitely don't think was a dream because I specifically remember thinking, when did I fall asleep? I just don't remember falling asleep for this. But, so, I was in my bed, I was watching, I think, an episode of Modern Family, when suddenly I just realized I can't move. I was sleepy, sure, but I couldn't move. I couldn't even move a finger. And that's like a normal, sleep paralysis, okay, sure. But then voices happened. Suddenly, all around me, I would hear men's voices. And they weren't speaking in English. I don't know what they were speaking in, but it definitely did not sound English or any language that I know or am familiar with. And the creepiest thing about it was I did have other instances, other nightmares, where I would hear these men's voices in that weird language. But this time, I was definitely awake. I just could not move. I don't remember how I finally was able to move, but I remember being able to just suddenly move a hand, and when I did, everything went silent, and the TV that was still playing, Modern Family, was still going, and everything was back to normal. But maybe it was just a normal sleep paralysis thing, or, I don't know. My house was super creepy. We got to exercise twice before it started to get a little bit more normal, so, who knows.
What? Say I had the same exact experience. Many weird things happened in our house. Had the same exorcist twice. Had a dream like this, but it was during the day and it was so calm. I was in my bed and all of that sudden I looked to the left and see the cat out the window. One time I woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't open my eyes. I'm like, oh no. I was starting to stress out. And because I thought it was sleep paralysis, maybe we should exorcist the house again. That's funny. Okay, y'all. Last but not least.
This is not a normal video that I would post. I also have to be a little quiet because my daughter is napping. So today is Friday, July 26th. And sometime this morning after 6:30 a.m., I had a scary dream. Before anybody is in my comments with the laughing emojis or just laughing in general, let me explain. I'll go ahead and warn, I love to give details. I'm a very well detailed person. I'm gonna throw a quick trigger warning out there. This dream mentions death and other entities. So at the beginning of this dream, it started out with my boyfriend and I rushing my daughter into the emergency room. We were both frantic and both trying to find a nurse. We get over to the receptionist's desk and they ask what's wrong. I explain to them that she is having an allergic reaction. I'm a person who has so many allergies. I'm definitely allergic to shellfish, so I know an allergic reaction. The woman asked me, how do I know it's an allergic reaction? I explained to her I have allergies, I know what they look like. In the dream, my daughter was having trouble breathing. She calmly pulled an EpiPen out of her pocket and injected it into my daughter's leg. To give a little bit more detail about the waiting room, it was not packed. There were just maybe a couple people there with hospital beds out in the waiting room, which doesn't make any sense. After she injected the EpiPen into my daughter's leg, she went and got a hospital bed for us to sit in the waiting room on. At this point in my dream, I was feeling very suspicious of it all. We sat there for a couple minutes before I started hearing the receptionist behind me talk about the day, August 20th. Fun fact, my birthday is August 20th. The receptionist would say August 20th, and then the rest of what she was saying would be mumbled. In the dream, I turn to my boyfriend and I tell him they're talking about my birthday and it is scaring me a little bit. Like usual, my boyfriend started to reassure me and calm me down by telling me it's probably just nothing, maybe a possible coincidence. So I calm down just a little bit and we wait a little while longer. Quickly want to mention, no nurse approached us, no doctor approached us. It was like nobody had any urgency to anything. Like the room was just still and very quiet, very eerie. After a few minutes of waiting, a family burst through the emergency room doors. It was a mom, a dad, and a boy. Now this boy seemed to be around my age, no younger than 18. As they came in, the mom was screaming, "Help me, help my baby, help us." Nurses from the opposite end of the waiting room come rushing over with a bed to lay him down on it. He was having a seizure. One of the nurses went and grabbed a monitor to hook him up to check his heart. The machine obviously was going crazy during his seizure. I watched as the dad held the mom and they both stood there in shock and bawling their eyes out. A couple seconds later, the machine flatlined and his body went limp. Immediately, they started to perform CPR. As they were doing so, the mom was screaming and crying and praying, doing what a typical mom in this situation would do. For some reason, I had this feeling that he had already, and there was nothing they could do. I turned to look at the receptionist and told her, "There's nothing they can do, he's gone, I can feel his spirit in the room." She called the nurse's name that was performing CPR and told her to stop. The nurse stopped and unplugged the machine. Her next words scare me a little bit. She said, "Time of death, 11 something something a.m. I don't know if she said 11:56 a.m. or 11:58 a.m. I just know it was close enough to noon. If you've never heard before, you're not supposed to know the time in your dreams. You're not supposed to ask the time or be able to look at a clock and tell the time. For some reason, it's just bad juju." The mom then has a full-on freak out, cussing out the nurses, saying, "You didn't help my baby would still be here if it weren't for you," and just was going on a whole rampage, as she should. My stomach was hurting so bad, like I had this really bad feeling the whole entire dream. Before those people arrived, after they arrived, and then at this point, my stomach was like in knots. I had mentioned to my boyfriend, "We need to go. We need to leave." He said our daughter hadn't been seen yet. She needs to be seen. We need to make sure that she is okay. I started to feel even more uncomfortable. I told him, "We can go literally anywhere else. Let's just leave, like right now." As the words came out of my mouth, the young boy sat up. He didn't gasp for air or like flail or anything. He just sat straight up, calmly. Just like everyone else, his parents were in shock and immediately ran to their son and asked him if he was okay. The boy kept telling them, "He's fine, he's okay, he's good." Deep down, I felt sick to my stomach. My daughter just woke up from her nap. The pit in my stomach just kept getting worse. For some reason, I turned to my boyfriend and say, "That is not the boy." After the words leave my mouth, immediately I feel a set of eyes on me. I turn to look at the boy, and he's already staring at me. Except it was not him. Something about him seemed very sinister. To go along with it, he even cracked like a creepy smile. I turn back to my boyfriend and tell him we need to go right now. He noticed the guy is staring at me, and so we get up to leave. Immediately, I got the feeling that I needed to wake up right now. As I woke up, I felt like I was being watched. Even though my boyfriend says goodbye to me every morning before he goes to work, I kind of forgot that he had left to go to work. I felt like someone was in the bed with my daughter and me. I started to remember that my boyfriend had already left to go to work. I had a little freak out session this morning. After I calmed down, I turned over, realized no one was in the bed with us, so I ended up going back to sleep. I'm not the type to pray. Like, I am religious, I just don't pray very often. But this morning when I woke up for the second time, I felt the need to pray.
Child, that story is long. She done did take 1, 2, 3 times and just tell the goddamn story. They say you look like you need vitamins. Make a doctor's appointment. White. Say I believe that you had a paranormal dream. You had a very busy dream praying. I have paranoid dreams more often than the past few months. Listen to your dreams and what they're telling you. There's a message. I always have a deep connection with the in-between. I knew my grandmother was going to day in a certain what? That's scary. Dreams are off the chart. Alright, y'all, that's all I really had for y'all. I'm going to be on here tomorrow, but I'm not really finding too much. Don't talk about my hair. We're going to have to throw it out until the end of this week, until we get it together. But I'm going to see y'all tomorrow.